So right here, I am going to show you how to do a monohybrid cross associated with sex-linked inheritance. Please pay attention to the cursor. So we have parents. Here's mom, here's dad. This is mom's genotype. So she has one dominant allele and one recessive allele. Note that we are still talking about hemophilia. This is dad's genotype, and dad has the dominant allele, and of course he has the Y chromosome. And note that hemophilia is a sex-linked recessive disorder. So in order to have the genetic disorder, if you're a female, you need two recessive alleles. And if you are a male, you need one recessive allele. So in this case, mom does not have hemophilia, but she's a carrier, meaning that she can pass on the disorder, the disease, the disorder to her offspring. Dad does not have hemophilia. So here we're going to do our Punnett square. So we put the gametes for mom, and the gametes, you know, are this one and this one. It's very simple with a monohybrid cross. And then the gametes for dad go here, and then you have to complete the Punnett square. The easiest way to do this is just copy and paste. So I'm just going to copy, paste, and you know how to do this. And you've done the dihybrid crosses. This is even more simple with the monohybrid crosses using just one pair of chromosomes. So note again that the dominant alleles are written first and X is always written before Y. So we just copy and paste to complete the Punnett square. Okay. You know that for copying, you highlight, you do Control C. And then for paste, you just do Control V. Okay, so we completed the Punnett square. Now we're going to talk about probabilities. So these guys right here, the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's a total of 4 possible genetic combinations. These guys represent the zygotes, the offspring, the babies. We're going to talk about probabilities. We're using very simple math. So let's figure out what's the probability that if these two parents have babies, what's the probability that their offspring will have hemophilia? So this is something really important to consider when you might be a carrier, you have a genetic disorder in your family, and you plan to have children. Usually people want to know, you know, they refer to a geneticist and they talk about, okay, what's the probability that my child will inherit the genetic disorder, and what's the probability that they will not? So we're doing the same thing here. You guys are being geneticists. So probability that they will have an offspring with hemophilia. So if you look at these guys, the only individual who has hemophilia is this guy right here. So the male who has one recessive allele, remember that's the hemizygosity we talked about. This individual will have hemophilia because for males with a sex-linked recessive disorder, all you need is to have one of the recessive alleles and you will have the disorder. So this is 1 out of the 4. So simple fraction, 1 out of 4, which is going to give us our 25% chance that their offspring will have hemophilia. Now, what's the probability that they're safe and their offspring is not going to have hemophilia? So all of this, 1, 2, and 3, all of those offspring will not have hemophilia. So it's going to be 3 out of 4. And that's going to give the 75% chance that their offspring will not have hemophilia. So with parents with these genotypes, there's a higher chance that their offspring will not have the disorder compared to the chance that their offspring will have the disorder. Now, what's the probability that their offspring is going to be a carrier? Remember, being a carrier means they do not have the disorder. However, they do have one recessive allele and they can pass it on to their own offspring. So this female right here, she's a carrier because she has one recessive allele. She has one dominant, one recessive, meaning that she can pass this allele on to her son. So it's one person who's the carrier out of the 4, so it's 1 out of 4, and the chances of having a carrier offspring is 25%.